Your Excellencies, honourable members, my lords, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, it gives me the greatest of pleasure to welcome you to Speaker's House for this very special event to mark 85 years since the Battle of Crete, which was launched on the 20th of May 1941 and ended 13 days later. It goes without saying that the Battle of Crete was much more than a military campaign. It became a remarkable example of heroism of Allied troops and Greek people under some of the harshest conditions imaginable. The fall of mainland Greece in April 1941 marked a significant low point for the British Commonwealth in the early stages of the Second World War. Just weeks later, 2,000 miles away here in London, the House of Commons chamber was destroyed and 3 staff members killed when incendiary bombs were dropped by the German Luftwaffe as it rained down on London during the Blitz. As Greek forces surrendered on the mainland, thousands of British, Australian, New Zealand troops were evacuated to Crete. Alongside them were the Greek soldiers who had survived the fighting on the mainland and regrouped on the island. Together, they prepared for what they knew would be a German attack. What is striking about the defence of Crete is that it was not separated by nationality. British Commonwealth troops fought alongside Greek soldiers in the same defensive sectors, often with limited resources. Many Greek troops, outdated rifles, little ammunition, and almost no heavy equipment, yet continued to fight extraordinary determinations beside their Allied partners. The cooperation went beyond soldiers alone. The people of Crete themselves became part of the resistance. Local civilians carried supplies, guided Allied troops through the mountains, hid wounded soldiers, and in some cases even fought German paratroopers with farm tools, hunting rifles, and kitchen knives. German forces were astonished by the scale of the civilian resistance they encountered. And perhaps more importantly, this cooperation did not end when the island fell. After Allied forces were evacuated, many Greek families sheltered, escaping British and Commonwealth soldiers for months, risking execution if discovered. The secret escape routes and resistant networks helped many Allied troops eventually reach safety of Egypt. The Battle of Crete reminds us that alliances are not simply agreements between governments. They are built through shared sacrifice, mutual trust, ordinary people helping one another in moments of crisis. On the mountains and villages of Crete, British Commonwealth and Greek defenders stood together against overwhelming force. Their cooperation became a story not only of a war, but of courage, loyalty and enduring friendship. And we mustn't forget the sacrifice that the Greek people made on Crete. It mustn't be forgotten about the special forces, the SOE that was based there, but they could never ever have operated without the risk of what the Greek people and what they suffered must never ever be forgotten. And I've got to say, I am on the guardians of the SAS. It is a trust for those, but it still exists for those people who didn't serve in this country, but served the special forces, whether that was in Greece and France and other countries. Your and will never ever be forgotten for your support and the sacrifice you made. So can I say to all of you, thank you for listening. I'd now like to hand over to Zoe, journalist and Greek correspondent. To Zoe, the floor is yours. Thank you, everyone.
Mr. Speaker, thank you very much for your inspiring speech. Mr. First Vice President of the Hellenic Parliament, honourable members of the Houses of Parliament, ambassadors, high commissioners, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. My name is gia. I'm a journalist and Deutsche Welle correspondent. As a proud Cretan myself, I am especially honoured to act as an MC this evening. Welcome to this commemorative event, 85 years since the Battle of Crete, a defining moment of courage, sacrifice and resistance during the Second World War. A testimony to the enduring friendship and close bond amongst the people of Greece, the United Kingdom, Australia and New Zealand. It is my honour to invite Mr. Yannis Plakiotakis, a fellow Cretan, First Vice President of the Hellenic Parliament and former Minister of Maritime Affairs and Insular Policy, to take the floor, please.
All right, Honourable Mr. Speaker, all right, Honourable Minister of State, Honourable Chair of the Parliamentary Group for Greece, Honourable Director General of the Imperial War Museum, Honourable Members of the House of Commons and the House of Lords, distinguished guests, friends of Greece and Crete. With utmost respect, we stand here today before one of the most significant moments in modern European history, 85 years after the Battle of Crete. A battle that transcended the narrow boundaries of a military confrontation and became a global symbol of freedom, resistance, and respect for human dignity. We pay tribute foremost to those who fell in battle, but we also honor the great values that those ordinary people, without being military trained, farmers, teachers, priests, women, young and elderly alike, defended alongside the Allied forces in May 1941. Freedom against tyranny, dignity against barbarism, solidarity against division. It was in Crete that spontaneous popular resistance emerged, and together with British, New Zealand, Australian and Greek soldiers stood against the Nazi invasion in what became a unique event in then occupied Europe. It's no exaggeration to say that Crete became the epicenter of a struggle that shocked the world and left an indelible mark on the history of the Second World War. The Battle of Crete reminds each and every one of us that democracy and peace are not self-evident concepts, but achievements that require constant memory, responsibility, and vigilance, especially in an era when the world is once again being tested against wars, division, and extremist voices. Historical memory is not an option, but a duty. And this is perhaps the most important message we can pass on to younger generations, that even in the darkest moment of history, people can choose courage over submission, unity over division, and freedom over fear. Speaking as a Cretan, I can tell you this: in spirit, Crete was never defeated. And it is this spirit that we honor today here at the House of Commons in a ceremony that reflects the historic bonds between the Greek and British peoples, bonds forged in difficult times but founded upon shared principles and common sacrifice. These bonds remain alive and continue to grow stronger. We keep alive the memory of those who fought, and we safeguard the values for which they sacrificed themselves. And we continue to build bridges of friendship and cooperation between our people so that the sacrifices of that generation may remain an enduring beacon for our common future. The momentum is so critical, but then again it can offer a valuable opportunity to reinstate values that our modern history tends to forget or deem obsolete. With wars in our neighborhood, even within Europe, and tensions caused by the visions of countries wishing to overturn sensitive realities based on international treaties, while defying international law, we ought to exploit and ultimately take advantage of everything that can bring to our peoples, to the Mediterranean, to Europe, to the whole world, a well-established peace, security, safety, and prosperity. I firmly believe that Athens and London have today more than ever the chance to pursue this task and boost a new momentum to their bilateral cooperation at all levels. Our parliaments can undoubtedly play a decisive role on this, and we do hope that we will stand on worthy successors and to our ancestors and as beacon of hope for the generations to come. Thank you very much for your kind attention.
Thank you very much, Mr. Vice President, for your remarks. And now, I would like to invite to the podium Lord Vernon Coaker, Minister of Defence.
Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, Excellencies, Honourable Members and distinguished guests. It's a real privilege to join you in commemorating the 85th anniversary of the Battle of Crete, a defining moment in our shared European history and one that continues to resonate in the relationships we uphold today. For the UK, the legacy of this hard-fought battle in Crete endures in our deep and lasting friendship with Greece. This is reflected in our shared values, both bilaterally with the Defence Roadmap signed earlier this year and multilaterally through our great work through NATO. The strength of our relationship is also demonstrated in the strong military cooperation between our armed forces, as evidenced just last year during our Carrier Strike Group deployment. The UK exercised submarines escorting with the Hellenic Navy after its departure from Suda Bay. And the Red Arrows, over the years, have conducted their pre-season preparations in southern Evia, a valuable injection of high visibility defence engagement activity. But to all of you, and as Mr. Speaker and our previous speaker said, today we remember not only a battle, but the contribution also of a broader allied effort, one that drew strength from cooperation across nations. Forces from Britain, Australia, New Zealand and across the Commonwealth fought alongside the people of Crete in defence of their island. However, we should never forget that the resistance of the people of Crete and of Greece overall has become a powerful symbol of bravery and defence against occupation, and a reminder to all of us that the defence of freedom extends beyond uniformed service. In an increasingly complex geopolitical environment, the lessons of Crete retain their relevance now more than ever. They remind us of the importance of alliances, resilience, and the necessity of standing together to defend our principles and indeed our sovereignty. Today, as parliamentarians and representatives of our nations, we reflect not only on the events of 1941, but celebrate and must celebrate our shared values, our mutual respect, and our continued commitment to security and stability in Europe and beyond against those who threaten it. As the commemorations before and the ones to come, let this commemoration serve as a tribute and resolve that reinforces our shared responsibility to future generations. Mr. Speaker, Ambassador Yannis and your team and all those here today who work so tirelessly to progress the UK-Greek priorities and strengthen our bilateral relationship, we say thank you. But to everyone represented here, as we've heard from the previous speakers, we need to stand together as friends, as partners and allies against those who would undermine the very things that the people of Crete and those who supported them stood against. Democracy, freedom, human values. They are the things that bind us together and they need defending now as strongly as they did in the past. Let the people of Crete inspire us to do that. Thank you so much for your attention.
Thank you, Lord Coaker, for your insightful remarks, really. Mr. Alberto Costa, MP, Chair of the All-Party Parliamentary Group for Greece, will now share his remarks. Please come to the podium. Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, Ambassador, Excellency Deputy President Plakiotakis, Lord Coaker, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is both a deep honour and a great pleasure personally to join you this evening as the long-standing chair of the All-Party Parliamentary Group for Greece as we commemorate the 85th anniversary of the Battle of Crete. The relationship between the United Kingdom and Greece is long-standing and enduring. Well, you know that, Yannis. My wife being Greek, it's an enduring 23-year-old relationship. And long-standing. But tonight, we not only celebrate that friendship, but remember a moment when it was tested with extraordinary courage. As my colleague the Minister said, 85 years ago on the island of Crete, British, Commonwealth and Greek forces stood shoulder to shoulder against the Nazi invasion. Together they fought with extraordinary courage in defence of freedom and sovereignty. Sovereignty which sometimes we British take for granted, marked of course by the Speaker, who is of course Speaker of the Mother of all Parliaments, guaranteeing the sovereignty of this Parliament. Yet the Battle of Crete was more than just a military struggle. It became one of the most remarkable examples of solidarity between all ordinary people and Allied forces during the Second World War. Men and women, villagers and priests, yes, priests, farmers and students, ordinary Cretans from every walk of life joined the struggle alongside Allied soldiers against that Nazi brutality, often armed with little more than courage, conviction and an unbreakable Greek spirit. As we know, their resistance came at a terrible cost. Entire communities suffered savage reprisals and families endured immense suffering. And yet, the spirit of the Cretan people was never broken. Many British and Commonwealth soldiers stranded across the mountains and villages of Crete were hidden and guided to safety by brave local Cretan families at enormous personal risk to those families. Those acts of humanity and bravery forged bonds that endured for a lifetime and stand as a shining beacon to us to remember the courage of the people that endured Nazi evils. The people of the UK and indeed of all the Allied nations owe a lasting debt of gratitude to the people of Crete for their sacrifice and generosity. It is a debt that we will not forget. The Battle of Crete is far more than just a chapter in the history of the Second World War. It has become a lasting symbol of friendship between our two peoples who stood together in defence of liberty. So, as we mark this 85th anniversary, let us honour those who fought and sacrificed for freedom. Let us remember the courage of the Greek and Allied forces, the resilience of the Cretan people, and the example they set for generations to come. And let us reaffirm our shared commitment, as Lord Coaker said, to democracy. Democracy, a great Greek compound word. Demos, kratos, people power. Let us not forget. Democracy, liberty, cooperation and peace. May their legacy continue to strengthen the enduring friendship between the UK and Greece. Mr. Speaker, thank you for allowing this celebration this evening. Thank you, Minister, for joining us. Your Excellency, it's always a pleasure to be with you, and thank you, distinguished guests, for coming this evening. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Our next speaker is Ms Caro Howell MBE, Director General of the Imperial War Museums, We thank her wholeheartedly for displaying here tonight valuable objects related to the Battle of Crete. Ms. Caro, please.
Mr. Speaker, my Lord, Your Excellency, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Kalispera. Thank you for your hospitality and for your invitation to join you for this wonderful event and to share a few words tonight. At IWM, we know that there are very few aspects of life that war does not shape, and not only for the generation that endures it, but for the generations that follow. For more than 100 years, IWM has told the deeply human stories of war's impact, of ordinary people living in extraordinary times, and of human behaviour at its best and its worst, in conflicts that have built, broken, and remade the world we live in today. This work is not just built around anniversaries. It is something that we do daily, across our 5 sites, in person and online, supported by our expert staff, who I want to thank for bringing the objects tonight, our volunteers and our partner institutions, through exhibitions, public events, art commissions, research and publications, as well as by loaning objects around the world from our 33.6 million strong collection. We are proud to be able to work with and learn from international partners, including the Athens War Museum, a relationship that we value and that continues to grow. An area of shared interest is undoubtedly when our 2 nations have fought alongside each other as allies, as we have done for much of the 20th century. And one such event, one of many, is the Battle of Crete. Our collection illustrates these historical events, some of which we have here tonight on the other side of the lobby, so do have a look if you can. So as well as the images, we brought propaganda produced in Greece and distributed to the civilians enduring the war, a pouch carried by a Cretan resistance fighter in the ongoing fight, extracts of the diary of a British agent that worked with them. There's a helmet that saved the life of a British soldier with the most extraordinary piece of deflection that you can see with the bullet hole, and the remnant of a British flag captured by the Germans on Crete, but later returned to Britain in the aftermath of the war. Together, these objects illustrate the range of experience that in that conflict, and how it continues to shape our lives and our relationships. While all of these objects help us to understand, appreciate, and connect with a shared past, the Battle of Crete continues to matter and resonate beyond remembrance. Why? Because it highlights patterns that we see in modern conflicts, how technology changes the character of war, how alliances are tested under pressure, how intelligence can be plentiful and yet misunderstood, and how civilians experience conflict not as an abstract idea, but as a lived reality. The Battle of Crete is also a story of alliance warfare, imperfect, urgent, and essential. The defence, as we've heard, brought together forces from across the Commonwealth and from Greece, each with different equipment, languages, and experiences operating under intense strain, and they had to find a way to work together. That reality has not gone. But alliances must be more than just words. Whether we think about humanitarian evacuations, deterrence missions, or collective defence, success still depends on partners being able to plan together, communicate securely, and act quickly before an adversary can exploit divisions between them. And in building trust between allies, I believe that museums have an important role to play too, through international collaboration. Crete helps us to confront the relationships between war and society. Cretan civilians resisted, and afterwards many paid a brutal price during occupation and reprisals. This is not just background to military history, it is the central moral reality of conflict. In our own time, we again see civilians caught in the middle, targeted, displaced, or pressured through fear. Crete reminds us why the protection of civilians, accountability for abuses, and the resilience of communities are not side issues. They are what determines whether a society can endure, recover, and remain. That remains as true and as relevant today as in 1941. When we remember the Battle of Crete, we are not only honouring those who fought and those who suffered, we are also reminding ourselves that history is not distant. It is a guide. In these challenging times, let Crete encourage us to invest in preparedness, to strengthen the partnerships that defend our shared values, and to place human lives, especially civilian lives, at the heart of how we think about security, because the past can teach us how to meet the tests of the present. At a time when war is again taking place in Europe and the wider world becomes increasingly unstable, we can take solace from the knowledge that we can call upon partners and allies willing to come together to defend our shared values. As Mark Twain is supposed to have said, history doesn't repeat itself, but it does rhyme. It's hard to think of a time in the recent past when IWM's purpose has been more relevant, or when the public has had more need of sources of information that it can trust. Like our founders in 1917, we believe that the stories of the past can help us understand our present, give us confidence and resolve in moving through the present, and shape a more thoughtful and reflective future. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And now it is my great pleasure to invite our last speaker, the host of this evening's event, His Excellency, the Ambassador of the Hellenic Republic to the Court of St. James's, Mr. Yannis Tsaousis.
Mr. Speaker, Mr. Vice President, Minister, honourable members of Parliament, ambassadors, high commissioners of Australia, New Zealand, Cyprus, distinguished guests. I wish to start by saying how proud, honoured and grateful we Greeks are to Mr. Speaker and the British Parliament for hosting us tonight. It has been a deeply moving evening, 85 years on. British, Australians, New Zealanders and Greek representatives, families and native Cretans, we have all come together with friends and allies to remember. Remember one of the most extraordinary examples of collective resistance in modern history. Villagers, farmers, priests, women, children fought alongside Allied soldiers with whatever they had in hand, as Alberto Costa said. This anniversary is not only Greek history, it is our common history, Greek, British, European Commonwealth. It is a chapter written together in blood and in hope. The British Parliament hosting us tonight recognizes itself this courage. Winston Churchill famously remarked that the Cretans showed the world that free men, however small in numbers, can always stand up to tyranny. That spirit of unity, of defiance, of dignity is what we honor today. We are paying tribute to thousands of Allied servicemen who never returned home. Many lie in the war cemeteries of Souda Bay and Maleme, where Her Royal Highness Princess Anne will honor their memory this weekend. This is another important visit to mark the history that binds together Greece and the United Kingdom in courage, sacrifice, and unbreakable friendship. The friendship that the Cretans have shared with Patrick Lee Fermor, their Michalakis, as they call him, with Alekos Fielding, and many others, as shown in the photos on display. A friendship that grew stronger after the Battle of Crete. Gerald Cadogan, a great British archaeologist on missions to Crete in the 60s, has described to me how open and welcoming the Cretan people were every time they realized that he was British. Άγγλος είσαι βρε, έλα κάτσε μαζί μας. Are you English, mate? Please come sit with us. And in the village of Anoia, 800 meters of altitude, where the battle also took place, people still play bridge instead of Greek traditional games. And of course, 1 million British visit Crete every year, nourishing a special people-to-people relation that holds us together. There are indeed thousands of personal stories of Greek-British friendship and families all over Greece built on the legacy of the common struggle during the Second World War and beyond, also through our successful diasporas. We are honored every time the grandchildren of British soldiers and Greek nurses and many others who met during the war are coming to our consulate to proudly apply for Greek citizenship and passports. I thank and I honor the presence of Lord Freyberg and the descendants of the heroes of Crete. Many thanks also to our friend Ms Caro Howell and the Imperial War Museum for the photos and the original items that are exceptionally presenting here today. Thank you so much, Caro. Special thanks to the Hellenic National Defense General Staff and the Hellenic Army General Staff, the Athens War Museum, as well as Mrs. Philippoulou and Mr. Danelis for the newspapers and the objects. Also, Ms. Cri representative of the region of Crete, for her presence here tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, I leave you with one thought and one last short video. Today, as Europe once again confronts challenges to peace and democratic values, the legacy of the Battle of Crete speaks with renewed clarity. It reminds us that solidarity is the best choice for nations against oppression in order to regain freedom and democracy. May the courage shown in the Battle of Crete continue to inspire us, guide us, and remind us of what free nations can achieve when united. Thank you.
Again, thank you so much to all of you that you have been here today. Thank you. Thank you very much.